get nodes. I did that yesterday for automation is complicated. Which one? External DNS. Already completed, right? Did anyone complete external DNS? Done? Then nice. You can place change. Okay. So what is RBAC? So this is for completely cluster authentication. Cluster authentication. Who can access? Okay. I mean, so what we can do here, for example, this is my cluster. I'm creating a user one. Next, next, previous. So give administrator access. Okay. Next, create a user. So here administrator access are nothing but cluster level access. Cluster delete, cluster create, cluster modify, like that. Okay. So in that case, let's configure the keys into my local server. How to configure the keys? Security credentials. Create access key, secret key. You can give something here. So let's go to server here. I'm going to configure keys. AWS configure hyphen profile I'm giving now. Okay. Next time if I create one more user, it is not going to be override. So I'm giving a dev profile. Access key copy, paste. Secret key, copy paste. US East 1. Clear na? Okay. So the thing is very clear. If I log in my user now here, update my kubeconfig file. My user by default not able to do anything. Let me show you. Yeah. So how to update kubeconfig here with user? Let's go to here Kubernetes. Okay. So the command is what kubeconfig update EKS update kubeconfig give the hyphen username and all, right? So let's go here. Let's go to here. EKS update. So my cluster name. Yeah, see, I'm going to update my EKS permissions with profile is what I have created, dev. So what I'm going to do inside my EC2 instance already configured the keys. User also exists. So what I'm trying to say, my cluster can update with this user. Okay, let's go to the check the cluster name. K8. Updated. So understand the things here. If I run kubectl get nodes, am I I'm able to get or not. Now login as a dev profile. Login as a dev profile means IAM user I have configured, right? So if I run kubectl get nodes, not possible. The reason while creating a cluster time, you have attached IAM role, right? That role only authenticated the cluster. So that role attached server only able to interact the EKS Kubernetes. Now user created, right? I'm trying to update EKS update kubeconfig. Still user unable to get the nodes. In this case, we have to use the RBAC process. RBAC process means there is a kubeconfig file is there in the cluster. We have to add this user's details plus role binding information. User need which permissions and all. Clear? So in that case, so let's go to Kubernetes main. Go to RBAC ls. So let's understand VA role.ml first. I'm creating a role. So IAM role is different. Kubernetes role is different. Kubernetes role is related to Kubernetes cluster role activity. So Linux file permission user into kubeconfig file. This is the process. Okay. I'm creating a role. Here I'm giving a deployment permissions, pod permissions, config map permissions only. Nodes permission is missing here. That means if I run kubectl get nodes, this user is unable to get it. So let's apply kubectl, apply -f. Why? Still I'm logging as a user. In this case, what I need to do? Remove this and again update. So default update is what IAM role only, right? Cluster time, creating time. It will again log in as a cluster creation time IAM role permissions will get. Otherwise, if you don't want to go for IAM role, cluster create before, configure the keys. Whoever the keys configured, that person can access the cluster always. Okay. Now you can apply. So role is created. So once role is created, next we have to create a role binding to bind this role on a specific group. Okay. The group name and all you can give anything, but API group RBAC authorization you should mention here. Clear? Let's apply role binding also. Role binding also created. So the last step is, so role binding also created. Next, we have to go for config map, AWS author. So we have to carefully do this process. Username is what? User one only. So let's take a first IAM. Aaron. Username is user1. Group in developers. So copy. So before that, edit this file. Let's remove. You may run along with that. So root is giving permissions now, right? Root user is giving permissions. Insert. So map roles are there, right? Exactly, you need to map user, copy, hmm, check carefully updated or not. Okay, that's it. So user attached to group is already bind on specific role. So user will get permissions or what now? Whatever rules are applied. D, give just D only. After insert, we can give backspace, right? Before insert, you can give D, continuously D, it will be delete line by line. Okay. Okay, this is also edited. Now, let's log in as a user again. How to log in as a user? Same command, profile hyphen dev. Your and keys are there, right, already? This cluster will update with this user. Yeah. Let's run now kubectl get nodes. What is the error? Hmm? Why unable to get? Yes, you can see here. Is there any node access? Deployment access is the resource. Next resource pod access is there. There are some config map access is there, but nodes are missing right here. Right or not? Nodes are missing. Okay, let's try pods. Working or not? No error, this is working. No resources are there in the pod. Clear? Now tell me. Simple logic. I'm going to delete. No, no, no. If I delete only specific permissions only will be get from the AM user. If I delete this cluster, for example, sorry, not cluster, instance. Okay. Next, if I create a one more instance, am I able to access from that instance to kubectl get nodes? Clear what I'm trying to say? If I delete this client server, if I create a new server after install kubectl, okay, let me do it now. Okay, let's give client 2. Okay, let's connect meanwhile. Yeah, wait. Okay. So okay, sudo su hyphen. Let's install kubectl. Clear till here? Now if I run kubectl get nodes, able to get nodes or not? Hmm? No, the server is not any communication with the cluster, right? Just created server only. In that case, everyone can create a server and access, right? Okay, if I run this command, cluster name is different anyway. So cd.kube, any folder will be created? No, this is normal server only. I'm going to update this kube configurations into this server. Cluster name is K8 and hyphen region US Eastern. Unable to locate credit. You don't have permission to run update command. EKS permission is not there for your server. Clear till here? In this case, what should I do? Either I can attach IAM role or configure the keys. In this case, focus here what I am doing here. I'm creating a different role EC2. This is entry question. Administrator access I'm giving here. EC2 to EKS admin access. Yes. Yes, sir. Unauthorized. Cluster create time. This role is not authenticated. You are simply created a server and attached administrator access. So, but this role is not configured into Kubernetes inside. Clear or not? Kubectl get nodes are what? Kubernetes inside activity. So you are, but can I delete cluster or not from this EC2? Yes. Administrator access is there. CLI command you can run to delete a cluster. But I want nodes. I want pods. Authorization access missing here. Kubernetes authorization access is not there for this attached IAM role. Now my question is very clear. Before instance is there, right? Let's click on that. Attach which role? K8 role. That role is authenticated by cluster, right? While creating time. So this server also, if I modify a role and I give same role which I have given to cluster creation time to my instance, same role attaching to my second server created recently now. Now if I update one more time, now you tell me if I run kubectl get nodes, Am I able to get or not? Clear the concept now? Role is authenticated here. While creating cluster time, server you have attached a role and created a cluster. Instead of role, configure the keys. I have created a user. I'm not attaching any role. Configuring the keys. That keys I'm giving a root permissions. Now deleted a server. Created a new server. When that server is able to connect the Kubernetes cluster and get nodes, while configure the same user keys into the same server again, AWS configure same user keys. What keys you have used to create a cluster? Clear the concept now? Role authentication, user authentication. This is for access level. Fine grain access if you need. Inside Kubernetes, create a Kubernetes role binding, attached to config map inside authorization for AWS authorization file. Add the user details. Okay. Next, your task today is I have created a user and log in a user. After that role binding and given a user details into here map users. My question is, okay, this is cool. My question is, I will create a different role. Leave it for users concept after practice done. I will create a different role. I will create a one instance. If I attach that role, that instance should work. Able to get a nodes. In that case, what you need to do? You need to update the role details into same role ARN details into your AWS authorization configuration file. In that case, if any server will create, if I attach same role, it should work. This is the agenda. How configure the keys, it is working, right? So how role will add into the AWS authorization configuration file like a user. Clear what I'm trying to say? That role, if you attach to any server, that server is able to get a Kubernetes permissions. The permission depends on the role and role binding. It's a different story again. Okay. For example, now new server also able to get full permissions. The reason same role I'm using. Now if I configure keys, AWS configure hyphen profile, dev or something name you can give. If I configure same keys, oh shit. Okay, no problem. Let's go to this server. This server instead of have configured the keys, right? Where exactly the keys will be created? Home directory. Where should I go? cd.aws cat credentials. See, easily reflecting. That's what configure keys are not recommended. So I'm taking access key. Now tell me, second server created, right? If I give profile dev, I'm updating again. The second server already updated a new role, right? It's working fine. If I log in as a user, tell me now which permissions I can access now from this. I've logged in as a user now. Which user? Dev user. What are the permissions we are giving? Q nodes. Am I able to get nodes? No API group. I'm able to get what? Simple. So now I can give these user credentials to my colleague. I think role layer and already here only there. You can take help. How to add a role layer. You need to understand where you are exactly. Update here. Go to root again. Okay. So here you can run the command. Open the edit config file here. So for example now, yeah, edit config map AWS or cube system. So here I'm adding into which group? Role binding group, right? So instead of doing any role binding, directly we can give cluster access, full access without role and role binding. In that case, simply you can add here masters, system masters. System masters means full permissions will apply, not required role and role binding. Nine AM I think full notifications. Okay. So let's see. Same user, right? Same user, right? Same user. Let's log in now. How to log in? Hyphen profile. Username is what? User one, na? Deva. Profile dev, sorry. In local profile is dev. kubectl get nodes. Clear? In that case, role binding required or not? Not required. I'm directly అర్థమవుతుందా లేదా సైలెంట్గా ఉంటాడు బాబు పెయింట్ పడాల్సిందే ఓకే కేర్ఫుల్ దిస్ ఇస్ క్లస్టర్ VA pod. So here I'm taking sleep again. I'm taking just Amazon Linux only. Okay. If Amazon Linux pod is stop state, it's go for stopped state or exited state. You can add sleep. That's what I have added to run continuously sometime. Now kubectl apply if pod.ml. Let me change to root permissions. Okay. User don't have permission to apply configuration file. Okay. Let's go to service account. We can pod created, right? How to log in? మీరు ఆలోచిస్తున్నాను ఆయన అయితే క్యూబ్ సిటిఎల్ instead of which image running background Amazon Linux OS. Okay, this pod is running now. I'm inside of the pod now. So guys, my pod is going to, I'm trying to access AWS S3LS. Combine not found. What I need to do? Inside pod I'm installing AWS CLI. But EC2 directory will come, but this is image, right? Less dependencies. We have to add the required dependencies. Now, AWS S3LS. Can I run pod inside? Huh? So that means this is my node inside pod. This is S3 bucket. If I run AWS S3LS, how the request will go? Through internet only. Right or not? This node is means what here? EC2. So first, this node, there is a separate role, right? Node group ARN. So that node group role first should have S3 access. So that request will go to node to S3. Okay, let's try this. What is the error here? Okay, what I'm going to do, let's go to EKS. Click on this, compute, node group. This is the role, node group role. Cluster role is different, node role is different. Don't confuse. Here I'm giving S3 full access to my node role. Working or not now? S3 bucket is not there. Let's create. I'm creating a bucket. Okay. Even bucket also not created. Okay, now created. Yesterday night someone created S3 bucket. Is all a Huh? Anyone created a team? I'm unable to create Isala Cup Nande. No idea. Okay. Clear? Okay. Now the point is very clear. My pod is able to access S3. So how? With help of node role ARN. Pod running inside the node, right? Pod will check with node first. Node level permissions are there. It will go to S3 and give the permissions. For example, what happened? Abadama? Okay. Yes, your wish, yes. I'm going to discuss the what are the things are there in Kubernetes. No need to discuss these areas as DevOps course you are taking. Whoever taking Docker Kubernetes, only these concepts will cover. This is very clear. But still, if you are anyway, at least 10 members can focus. Maybe they get a good package. Yesterday, okay, name, okay. Okay, so we don't know, right? Same concept will come in your interview. Already proved here many cases. Better to focus. Again, nothing is there, no rocket science here. Your node, public or private? As of now, I'm creating a cluster public node only, right? So internet is there. If node is private, NAT gateway, simple again, access. Clear what I'm trying to say? I don't want to access all pods. Specific pod only access S3. Now, okay? Pod like huh? Specific pod only access S3. Now tell me guys, every pod can access or not? Every pod able to access or not? How you can give in IAM policy? Tell me. IAM policy and pod level policies are there. Then how you can give specific pod access should give to access S3, not all the pods. Huh? Create RBAC. That's user level, right? Yeah, even it will work. Even it will work. RBAC also it will work. But why unnecessarily create user for that? Create or not? Say, getting or not? I'm the root user. I'm the root user. If I give node level permissions, each pod can access not only specific pod. Node inside any pod is there now. All pods able to access different services from the AWS. It's a non-compliance issue. No. Only this pod can access to specific service in AWS. So if you create RBAC, what will happen? Again, you need to log in as a user. You are already root right. And then, so here we are using concept is service account concept. That service account concept, see, if you can see the exit from here, no problem. If you can see my pod.ml, service account concept is there, right? Commented. That means what? You have to create one service account, give the permissions to IAM policy you can create, attach that policy to service account. Whoever use that service account, they will get access as per the IAM permission. Clear? I mean, what I'm trying to say, a simple logic here you need to understand. My end IAM policy is there. This policy is to access one bucket. So we cannot attach this policy to directly pod. So what we can do? Create a service account. Attach this policy to service account. attach this service account to your pod.yaml file. That's what, if you can see. So wherever you can use this service account name, that YAML file only can able to access the specific permissions. My and two pods are there, for example. Okay, two pods are there. This pod, this pod. This pod inside also, if I call this service account, this pod also can access S3. So this pod inside, if I'm not calling service account only metadata name only, this pod unable to access S3. Clear till here what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So wherever we can use the service account entry in the pod level, that pod only able to access whatever permissions you are attaching to service account. Clear till here? Any questions? In that case, you no need to give node level any permissions. Then again one more question here. How the request will travel then? Node level permissions completely focus. I'm creating a policy now. Okay, policy, I need to apply now. So let's go to So I'm going to create IAM policy, AWS create policy, policy name by calling the JSON. This is just a CLI command, not related to Kubernetes. You can create a policy directly console itself only, or CLI. Policy created. You can go and check also. Policy name EKS S3 policy. EKS S3 access policy, just now created. Okay, through CLI. I think this process everyone know, right? Till here policy creation. Okay. Next is what? I'm going to associate this policy to OIDC. OIDC means OpenID Connect. I'm not using any source, directly connect. So how to create OpenID Connect? EKSETL utilize associate IAM OIDC provider region. Okay, first I'm going to run this export command, or you can directly call there itself only. So cluster name is what? Region as is, cluster name is K8. I'm exporting env variables. So now I can use only cluster name means automatically K8. AWS region means US East 1, always. Or you can directly add here also, where you can directly add here region place region, cluster name place cluster name also you can. Let's run the, this is the main. I'm going to allow OpenID Connect. EKSETL is not there. Okay, I'm using this server. This server means same rule attached, right? Okay, no problem. Confusing. Multiple servers are there. Where it is? Again, I'm going to run EKSETL command. OpenID Connect for approve. IAM OpenID Connect. IAM OpenID Connect, directly you can connect any service. Next. So now I'm creating a service account with help of policy what you have created. Okay. So this is the command I'm going to give. Here the changes are what only? ARN. Clear? Let's go to, you can check from here only ARN you can see. Copy. Okay. So let's go to creating service account. Copy. Yeah. This create a Kubernetes service account with IAM permission to access S3. Okay. Again, CloudFormation stack will create background service account creation process. So, what we can do today? Okay. Anyone take initiative to prepare today concept in detail? RBAC, service account in detail. By seeing that, wow, who prepared this document like that? Okay. No, ha ha ha. Wow. Okay. Let's go to now create a YAML file. Same, I'm going to create a YAML file now. Just to add this existing YAML file. I have created a service account name is what? S3 access SA. You can give any name, no problem. Service account created, I'm using service account. Service account inside already attached a permission for S3. Let's go. kubectl get pods. One pod already running, right? So delete this. kubectl or how to attach? Okay. vi pod.yaml. Just uncomment this. It will take or not, I don't know after running. Okay. Clear? Now AWS S3 LS. Let's go to node role first. Node role is this one only, right? Let me remove full access. No S3 permission for node level right now. No S3 permission for node group, node level, where the pod is exist. Clear now? I'm able to access without node permissions. IODC, OpenID Connect will give the path to go your request into IAM. Service account inside already attached IAM permission. Service account I'm using inside the pod. For example, I'm taking a pod2.yaml, a different pod2.yaml. This pod, if you're on AWS S3 am able to access? No. This pod inside you need to add same service account. Then the pod can access AWS S3. Understand? Until add a service account, no pod can access directly S3. Where exactly I need to add service account details? Metadata section only. Metadata section, specifications, if you can give, this pod can access S3 directly. Why? This service account already attached S3 permission JSON policy. If I create a one more pod without service account name into the specification, that pod is able to connect S3? No. In this case, if I give a node role AR and S3 full access, every pod can connect S3 without adding a service account. But this is what? Secure one. Sorry, we no need to apply. Okay. Let's go. kubectl apply -f pod.ml. What happened? Okay, got it. kubectl delete -f pod.ml. Same pod name, pod running, right? So identical not possible. It is saying that you need to change pod name at least. You are saying one pod, two pods are there. One pod is with service account, with pod is without service account. How it is possible? That's what it's saying not possible with two identical account, same names. kubectl get pods. No resources. Now vi pod.ml. AWS, yes. So kubectl apply -f pod.ml. Created. kubectl get pods. kubectl exec -at pod bin bash. Okay. Next, what I need to do, AWS S3LS, it won't accept because I need to run CLI command. Yeah, we can add service account deployment.ml inside. It will apply for all pods. Specification inside only we can add a service account. Clear? Deployment.ml inside service account. So that means all pods it will apply for the service account access. Clear now? AWS S3 MB. I'm unable to create why? Permission given only get JSON policy. Clear? But role level permission is there, I'm able to create, right? Role, if I give a full access, request will go to bypass these permissions and go for. But role, we are not going to give away any full permissions. I mean, node group role. Clear? So please practice. So tomorrow we'll meet for the new concept.